A single pyrotechnic spark turned a nightclub into an inferno so intense that 100 people died in just 6 minutes. Picture yourself at a concert, surrounded by thousands of fans, the energy electric, the music pounding. Now imagine that within moments, that same crowd becomes a death trap. These are the deadliest concert disasters in history, and understanding what happened might just save your life someday. The Station Nightclub fire, February 20th, 2003, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Jack Russell's Great White was about to perform at a small nightclub packed with fans. The venue held maybe a few hundred people legally, but that night, everyone wanted in. As the band kicked off their set, the tour manager triggered pyrotechnics, standard for their shows. Sparks shot up toward the ceiling, and within seconds, the flammable acoustic foam padding the walls ignited. What happened next unfolded with terrifying speed. The foam wasn't just flammable, it was essentially solid gasoline wrapped around the entire stage area. Flames raced across the ceiling like water flowing downhill, spreading in every direction simultaneously. Black smoke filled the club almost instantly, thick and toxic, making it impossible to see or breathe. Panic erupted. Everyone rushed toward the front entrance, the door they'd walked through just minutes earlier. Here's what makes this truly horrifying. The station had 4 exits, 4 possible escape routes. But in the chaos and darkness, nearly everyone defaulted to the familiar, the main entrance they remembered. 275 people tried forcing themselves through that single doorway. Only the first 90 made it. The rest created a human wall of bodies, a crush so dense that people couldn't move forward or backward. Those trapped in the doorway died standing up, compressed so tightly they asphyxiated while still on their feet. Others behind them, unable to see what was blocking the exit, kept pushing forward, making the compression worse. The entire building was engulfed in flames within 6 minutes of ignition. 100 people dead, 230 injured. The building had no sprinkler system, no fire alarm, nothing to slow the inferno down. Tour manager Daniel Beachley, the man who triggered the pyrotechnics, eventually pleaded guilty to 100 counts of involuntary manslaughter. He served 4 years of a 15-year sentence. The tragedy rewrote fire safety codes across America, forcing venues to install sprinklers, limit pyrotechnics, and ensure all exits were clearly marked and accessible. But for the families of those 100 victims, no code change could undo that night. Cincinnati, 1979, the Who concert disaster. Imagine you're a massive Who fan and they're finally coming to your city. You've got general admission tickets, which means no assigned seats. First come, first served for the best spots. You arrive early, joining thousands of others outside Riverfront Coliseum. The doors are supposed to open well before the show, giving everyone time to file in safely. Except they don't. It's 7:45 p.m., 15 minutes before showtime, and the doors are still closed. Then you hear something from inside the venue. Music. The band warming up, testing their equipment. But you don't know that. All you know is you hear the Who playing, and you're still stuck outside. Panic ripples through the crowd of over 18,000 people. The show's starting without us. We're missing it. People begin pushing forward, pressing against those ahead of them, who press against the people ahead of them, creating a cascade of force that no individual can control. When a few doors finally open, the surge becomes unstoppable. Bodies pile through the narrow openings, people stumbling and falling, others trampling over them without even realizing it. You can't stop. The crowd behind you won't let you. You're not walking anymore. You're being carried by a wave of human bodies. 11 people died that night, all from asphyxiation, crushed under the weight of thousands of fans who had no idea they were stepping on corpses. Police found the bodies around 7:45 p.m., scattered on the ground near the entrances. Here's the disturbing part. Cincinnati fire officials decided not to cancel the show. They feared the crowd's reaction if they announced what had happened. So the Who played their entire set, encores and all, while bodies lay outside. The band wasn't told until after they finished performing. Guitarist Pete Townshend later said if they'd known, they would have stopped immediately. 80% of the tickets sold were general admission. Only 25 police officers were assigned to control a crowd of 18,000. The math never worked. Cincinnati banned festival seating for 25 years after this disaster, though they eventually repealed it in 2004. The Who didn't return to Cincinnati for 43 years, finally performing there again in 2022. But those 11 victims never got to see another show. They died doing something that should have been fun, something that should have been safe. And what happened in Denmark 21 years later proved that the lessons from Cincinnati still hadn't been fully learned. Roskilde Festival, Denmark, June 30th, 2000. You're at one of Europe's biggest music festivals, standing in a massive crowd waiting for Pearl Jam to take the stage. It's been raining. The ground beneath your feet is slick mud mixed with trampled grass. You're surrounded by thousands of other fans, packed shoulder to shoulder, everyone pushing forward to get closer to the stage. The energy is electric. This is what you came for. Then Pearl Jam walks out, and the crowd erupts. Everyone surges forward at once. You try to move with the flow, but suddenly you're not walking anymore. Your feet aren't even touching the ground. You're being carried by the sheer force of bodies pressing against you from all sides. Someone falls in front of you. You try to help them up, but the crowd won't let you stop. More people are going down. You can hear screaming, but it's drowned out by the music and the roar of 50,000 people. You're gasping for air, but every breath gets harder because the pressure on your chest keeps building. People are crowd surfing, losing their grip, falling into the mass of bodies below. The wet ground makes it impossible to get back up once you're down. You see panic in the eyes around you. Everyone realizes something is terribly wrong, but no one can stop it. 9 people died that night. 8 young men between 17 and 26 suffocated as the crowd crushed them. A 9th died 5 days later in the hospital. 26 others were injured. Pearl Jam stopped playing after 45 minutes, when they finally understood what was happening in front of the stage. Lead singer Eddie Vedder was devastated. The band refused to play any festival after that unless detailed security arrangements were written into their contracts. They wrote a song called Love Boat Captain about the tragedy, with the line, "Lost 9 friends we'll never know." 2 years ago today. When they perform it live, Vedder changes the lyric to reflect how many years have passed since Roskilde. The disaster led to the creation of the Yes Group, a safety network for European festivals. Crowd surfing was banned at many major events. Glastonbury Festival canceled their 2001 event entirely to implement new safety measures. But those 9 families still lost someone who just wanted to see their favorite band play. Fast forward to November 5th, 2021, Houston, Texas. Astroworld Festival. 50,000 people packed into an outdoor venue for Travis Scott's 3rd annual festival. You're excited. The energy is insane. But things have been chaotic all day. People jumping fences, sneaking in, overcrowding every section. Security is overwhelmed. When Travis Scott finally takes the stage, the crowd loses control. Everyone rushes forward simultaneously. You're swept up in a wave of human bodies, compressed so tightly you can't expand your chest to breathe. People around you are screaming for help, but the music is too loud. No one can hear them. You try to push back, create space, but there's nowhere to go. The pressure on your ribcage is unbearable. You feel like you're being crushed by a car. Because that's essentially what's happening. Compression asphyxia. Your lungs can't inflate. Some people are passing out, going into cardiac arrest. The show continues for 37 more minutes while people are dying in the crowd. 10 people lost their lives that night. Ages 9 to 27. A 9-year-old child. Hundreds more were injured. The cause of death for all 10 victims was compression asphyxia. A grand jury later declined to indict Travis Scott and 5 others connected to the festival. 9 wrongful death lawsuits have been settled. About 2,400 injury cases are still pending. The tragedy sparked a governor's task force on concert safety in Texas and reignited global conversations about crowd management. But legislation and lawsuits don't bring anyone back. These weren't freak accidents. They were preventable tragedies caused by inadequate planning, poor crowd control, ignored safety protocols, and prioritizing profit over people. The Station Nightclub didn't need pyrotechnics in a building with flammable foam and no sprinklers. Cincinnati didn't need to sell 18,000 general admission tickets with only 25 officers on duty. Roskilde needed better ground conditions and crowd barriers. Astroworld needed actual security and crowd size limits. Every single one of these disasters changed regulations, rewrote safety codes, and forced the industry to do better. Venues now have sprinkler requirements. Festival seating has restrictions. Crowd density is monitored. Security protocols are stricter. But each of those improvements was written in blood, purchased with lives that shouldn't have been lost.